In the harsh winter of 1887, a struggling farmer named Thomas McCarthy stood before a crumbling house on the outskirts of Santa Fe, New Mexico. He clutched $40 in his weathered hands, everything he had left in the world. The land agent handed him the deed with a nervous smile. "It's all yours, Mr. McCarthy. Just sign here." Thomas didn't ask why the house was so cheap. He didn't care. After losing his farm in Kansas to drought and his wife to fever, he needed a fresh start, a roof over his head, a place to begin again. He signed the papers, took the rusty key, and approached his new home. The door creaked open, and Thomas froze. Two pairs of dark eyes stared back at him from the shadows. Two young women, Apache, sitting by a small fire in the stone hearth. The older one stood slowly, her hand moving to a knife at her belt. "Who are you?" Thomas stammered, his heart pounding. The older woman's jaw tightened. "We live here." "Who are you?" Thomas held up the deed with shaking hands. I just bought this house," the land agent said. "Your land agent is a liar," the younger woman said quietly. She couldn't have been more than 16. "This was our grandmother's house. She died 3 months ago." The older woman, maybe 20 years old, stepped forward. "I am Nalin. This is my sister, Kiona. Our grandmother bought this land legally in 1869. We have papers too." Thomas's stomach dropped. He'd been cheated. The agent had sold him a house that wasn't his to sell, knowing these women had no way to fight back in a white man's court. That night, Thomas could have done what any other man of his time might have done. He could have called the sheriff, had them removed, claimed his legal purchase. The law would have been on his side. Instead, he sat on the porch steps, head in his hands, thinking about his dead wife, thinking about what she would have said. Nalin opened the door. "You are still here." "I'm thinking," Thomas said quietly, "about how to throw us out. About how that land agent stole from both of us." He looked up at her. "He took my last $40, and he took your home. I'm not your enemy." Nalin studied him for a long moment. "Then what do you want?" "Honestly, I just need a place to sleep and a fresh start. I'm a farmer. I can work land. I can fix things." He gestured at the broken porch railing. "This place needs work." "We cannot pay you," Kiona said from the doorway. "I'm not asking you to." "Look." Thomas stood slowly, keeping his hands visible. "I have nowhere else to go. You have nowhere else to go. This house is big enough for 3 people if we stay out of each other's way. Let me stay in the barn. I'll help with repairs, help plant a garden come spring. We can figure out the legal mess together." The sisters exchanged glances, speaking rapidly in Apache. Finally, Nalin nodded. "1 month. We will see if you keep your word." The first weeks were tense and silent. Thomas slept in the drafty barn, worked on repairs during the day, and kept his distance. Nalin watched him constantly, her hand never far from her knife. Kiona was quieter, but her eyes held the same distrust. Thomas understood. They'd seen their people pushed onto reservations, seen their land stolen, seen promises broken again and again. Why should they trust him? He didn't try to make friends. He just worked. He fixed the roof that leaked in the northwest corner. He chopped firewood and stacked it by their door without asking for thanks. When he caught 2 rabbits in his traps, he hung one on their door handle before dawn. Slowly, things began to shift. One freezing morning, Thomas woke to find a bowl of cornmeal mush and dried berries sitting outside the barn. No note, no explanation. A few days later, when he was struggling to lift a heavy beam to repair the barn roof, Nalin appeared with a rope and helped him hoist it into place. They worked in silence, but it was a different kind of silence. In late January, a blizzard swept through. Thomas was in the barn when the temperature plummeted. By nightfall, ice coated everything, and the wind howled like a living thing. He huddled in his blankets, shivering violently. He'd survived the night, but barely. The barn door crashed open. Nalin stood there, snow swirling around her. "Don't be stupid. You'll freeze to death out here." "I don't want to intrude." "You'll intrude more if we have to drag your frozen corpse out in the morning. Come." That night, Thomas slept by the fire in the main house. Kiona made him sage tea that warmed him from the inside. They didn't talk much, but something had shifted again. The walls were coming down. When spring arrived, they planted a garden together. Thomas showed them techniques he'd learned in Kansas. Nalin taught him which wild plants were edible, which had medicine in their roots. Kiona, it turned out, had a gift for coaxing life from the earth. One evening, as they sat watching the sunset, Kiona spoke softly. Our grandmother used to say that family isn't always blood. Sometimes it's the people who choose to stay when they could leave. Thomas felt his throat tighten. She sounds like she was wise. She was, Nalin said. She would have liked you, I think. You keep your promises. I try. Nalin looked at him directly. We have decided. This house belongs to all of us now. Not in papers or deeds. In truth. Thomas nodded, unable to speak. For the first time in a year, he felt like he had a home. Not just a building, but a home. They never did resolve the legal mess with the deed. It didn't matter. They worked the land together, sold vegetables in town, kept each other alive through hard times. When townspeople asked questions, Thomas simply said, "They're my family." Some people talked. Some people sneered. Thomas and the sisters didn't care. Nalin eventually married a man from a nearby pueblo. Kiona became known as the best healer in 3 counties. Thomas never remarried, but he was never alone. Years later, when Thomas was old and gray, someone asked him if he regretted buying that house for $40. He smiled. Best $40 I ever spent. I thought I was buying a house. Turns out I was buying a family. Sometimes the best things in life come from the worst circumstances. Sometimes home isn't a place you find. It's people who choose to stay. And sometimes, $40 can buy you something far more valuable than property. It can buy you a chance to do the right thing.